Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. How not to manage stress. That is the topic for today's talk. I'm not sure about that word. Today's exploration. How not to manage stress. So you might be thinking, she's lost the plot. We all need to be managing that stress, don't we? Otherwise we'll end up completely burnt out, washed out and really struggling. And that's the bit I really do know about. I do know about washed out, burnt out and really struggling because I've been there. I've been to that dark place. I don't know why I'm smiling about it. I guess because it's taken me onto such a beautiful path, and I can only be grateful for that. How my life has changed since I burnt out when I was a primary school head teacher. Anyway, I've been on a really interesting journey since then with regards to stress and managing it. I used to do a lovely workshop. It was lovely at the time. I really enjoyed it and thought it was helpful. And it was called Stress to Success Habits. And I shared it because I truly believed that the things I was doing on a daily basis were keeping my head above water. And it did just about feel like that it was keeping my head above water. So my daily routine involved meditation, some exercise, affirmations, always some kind of reading or educational content, some kind of journaling, gratitude journal, that kind of thing. I'm trying to think, some work on my vision board and stuff. And that was every single day. And on top of that, there were some things I would do in the moment to manage any rising feelings I had of stress. And I used to share all of these in a lovely workshop called Stress to Success Habits, as I mentioned. And the workshop used to last an hour or longer if we went into some of the aspects more deeply and experienced some of them, like meditation. And this is kind of how I see it now, not how I saw it then, of course. There's a different perspective. But imagine that you were one of those 20 or 30 participants that came into my workshop already with a very full head, already with more emails than you know what to do with, already with more than one line manager who's asking you for things, already with a workload and a pile of paper on your desk that looks massive and may feel quite overwhelming, and already with a whole pile of other stuff that's probably going on at home. And then you would come into my workshop for a couple of hours and walk away with a list of things to do. And those things were, I'm going to call it downstream. It's a phrase that's used quite a lot in my coaching community. Those things were catching the symptoms of and trying to kind of squash down the symptoms of stress and keep them under control. So it's a bit like then I would say that this is a lovely analogy, if you spotted a river with loads of rubbish in it, and you thought, wow, I want to get involved in this. I'm going to help to clean up this river. I'm going to get in the river and I'm going to start scooping that rubbish. And you had a skip on the side of the river and you just kept scooping the rubbish out and putting it in the skip. But more and more rubbish kept coming downstream. More and more of it. You had to keep putting it in the skip and putting it in the skip. And it began to feel like you were only just sort of treading water whilst trying to get the rubbish out of the river. But really, all you needed to do was get out of the water and walk just a little way upstream to where you would spot that somebody had accidentally knocked a pipe. That, those big pipes they have hanging off building sites like that. And somebody had just knocked it and it was spilling rubbish into the source of the river, into the top of the river. And all you need to really do is just push that pipe back over the skip that's actually there to receive the rubbish. And then there will be no more rubbish downstream. So the managing stress style workshops that I used to deliver were all about that exact thing, about managing it as if it was already a concrete thing that existed in our lives. So let me just take you upstream now. Because it turns out there is much more benefit in understanding the source of stress. Understanding stress rather than dealing with it downstream when it's already beginning to feel like you're not coping very well. And then you could do some extra techniques to just fill up your head a little bit more if you like. There is a huge confusion out there about the source of stress. You pick up a newspaper and flick through it, or you look on social media and you will see all sorts of things that are pointed to being sources of stress. My job was one of them. When I tell people I was a head teacher and I burnt out, they immediately most people start talking about my job. If you have, whenever you're listening to this, you won't have forgotten 2020 and 2021. And that has been pointed to as stressful. But here's something that I've started to see that's shining a light on the untruth about that, I think. I do a workshop now. It's called The Truth About Stress. And in that workshop, I share 3 pieces of music. I'm just going to talk about one of those pieces of music. When I share the pieces of music, the invitation is for the participants to put the feeling they get from that music into the chat. And the first piece of music that I play is a piece from Madame Butterfly. It is actually quite a sad opera, and it's a sad piece of music. Actually, the part of the story is sad. But when I play that music, it's a lot of people don't know that it's Madame Butterfly and it's a sad story. So when they listen to that music, I get such a wide range of feelings that the people experience listening to that music. From sad to tranquil to calm to peaceful. There's so many different feelings. Some people feel the sadness in it. Other people, it makes them feel calm. But it's one piece of music. So it can't quite be that way, can it? The one piece of music is producing all those different feelings. So can it be that things in our lives are creating stress? There's something in us, isn't there, that's bringing that to life. And the same goes for, I always mention email inboxes. We've all got a different level of tolerance, haven't we, for how many emails we have in our inbox. Mine is quite low. Mine got to 300 in the last few weeks. So I'm sorry if you've sent me an email and I haven't replied. But, and that, I don't like that. That feels like it's a little bit overwhelming for me. But I know there's people who've got thousands and they're not bothered. So it can't be the thing, can it? It's not the circumstance, it's not the job, it's not the music, it's not the number of emails in the inbox. It's thought in the moment. Now, that is not about you going, oh, well, I've got some awful thinking, so I'm more stressed. That's how this works. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that once you know that, it just almost reminds this wonderful natural system inside you to reset. I feel like there's lots more to say about this, but I'm just going to leave that with you and then with an invitation, really. And one of the invitations is a fun little experiment when you're watching a film or watching some television with somebody else, to notice how you are in different emotional states as you go through the watching of the movie. You might be sad, they might be laughing, you might be frightened, they might not have any feelings towards an aspect of the film, and just notice that playing out as you watch a film with somebody else. This is about you starting to see the truth about where your feelings are coming from, including the feeling of stress, and knowing therefore that you don't need to manage something that is being created inside you, being created through you. You just need to understand it better. And when you understand it better, you'll be at the source, not downstream, gathering up all the rubbish. So go off and play and enjoy and see what you see. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.